Good morning. Happy Thursday. This is the 27th day of January, and this is the 19th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone, reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I am a professional creative and the creator of what we're now calling the Hero Ministry movement. And that's been my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community first, and now uplift and inspire people in general. This season 3, is about doing. In other words, being in action, doing the work to become your own financial hero, right? That's what we're on this season, talking about doing. And I'm wearing the Doing hoodie. Just a reminder, I often forget to say this, but the Doing hoodies are available via the link in my bio, but depending upon where you're watching this, the bio could be different. So via my website, that's the easiest way to find it. And let me just put that up. I haven't put that up in a while. It's just sekouwrites.com, but if you have difficulty understanding what I'm saying, it's sekouwrites.com. There's the website. So the Doing hoodies, Hero hoodies, and masks, socks, etc. All those things are still one for one. In other words, you get one for yourself, and then I gift one to the unhoused community. So that's happening all the time, and that leads me into the charity run. But no, let me not go there first. Let me finish my morning stuff. So shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this platform to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. They are a 501c3 nonprofit, so any donations you make there are tax deductible. There's the website, ntmedia.org, and you can just click donate to make a donation. You can also check out the other programming on the network and on the radio station. If you go to the website, you'll see all that information. All right, shout out to Rev Robert and Rev Melissa. You might have seen this on Rev Melissa's show, but they finally met each other in person for the first time. It's so odd to think about it that way, that I guess I also have not met Reverend Robert in person for the first time, but I see him visually on mediums like this all the time. So it feels like we've met. But anyway, here's the picture of them hanging out on the West Coast. That's Reverend Robert, the founder of the New Thought Media Network. Okay, so I think that's it for the introductory stuff. Be sure to check out the show, the Be Your Own Hero show, Monday through Friday at 9:45 a.m. Eastern and 8:45 a.m. Central, 7:45 a.m. Mountain and West Coast. And if you missed the show, you can always watch the replay on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you check it out over there. And you can also see all the previous episodes that I've ever done. Season 1, Season 2, all the previous episodes are available there. And I've also started reposting some of those previous episodes as audio content in my podcast. So you can check those out both on the sekouwrites podcast and the Get Rich 101 podcast. Okay, so Hero Ministry Movement News. Hero Ministry Movement News. So the run streak, I have been doing a run streak for a number of days. This is day 241, and I'm doing my third charity run as a part of that run streak. I'm raising money for Mr. Charles. Just briefly, that's the man who I helped out of the snow. The man I helped who broke his foot on the ice a couple weeks ago. So I won't recap the whole story, but also shout out to Gladys. I saw that you made a donation to help me get Mr. Charles back on his feet. I appreciate that. And I invite all of you out there to do the same. You can just go to sekouwrites.com, and right there on the homepage, there is a link that says Charity Run, and that'll take you right to my GoFundMe campaign for Mr. Charles. Or you can go to GoFundMe and just search and find it that way. Either way, any donation is appreciated. Even just $1 is appreciated. I want to be able to give him a gift as he comes back from the hospital. Okay, so today's run story. I don't really have much of a run story today. I mean, I posted the run story on social media, so you can check out the full 3-minute run story over there. But in terms of a recap, I don't have much. The call to action for half marathon training for today is to run 3 miles at tempo. And I don't really know what that means. So I Googled it and I couldn't quite figure out what it meant. But I did 3 miles. And I also ran yesterday, which was supposed to be a rest day. So I feel like I'm on track. But it's interesting to me how it's not just about the miles, it's about how fast you run the miles. So that's something I'd like to pay attention to as I train for races, which I've never formally done before. I've just gone out and done it. So anyway, that was a kind of very brief sip of today's run story. Check out my run story on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And oh yeah, it was 25 degrees today, so it was cold. So it was hard to do the 3 miles, but not harder than other days where it's been colder. Okay, so the 30-day challenge. So I've been posting a call for a roll call on the 30-day challenge. It's not really a 30-day challenge page. It's my Doing Tribe Facebook page. But I've been using that for the 30-day challenge. And every morning I post a roll call. And the number of people that respond to the roll call has been going down and down and down. And I just want to say, do not be discouraged. Do not be discouraged, because all the thought leaders, all the pundits, all the experts, all of them say the same thing. When you start something new, the neurotransmitters that fire in your brain are like, yay, yay, let's do it. This is going to be so good. Let's do it. Yay, 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 yay. And those neurotransmitters only last but so long before the mind's baseline, which is called homeostasis, returns. Like it's going to return to its baseline. And the baseline is, for every human being, is about comfort and safety rather than growth and happiness. So it's going to do everything it can to pull you back to safety, to comfort. That's just the way the mind is wired neurologically. Oh, I can't say that word today. Anyway, in terms of neurological impulses, that's the way the brain is wired. So you have to actively push against it. So do not be discouraged. If you've fallen off the wagon, you haven't done what you thought you were going to do and you're feeling bad about it, don't feel bad about it. Be gentle with yourself. And also get back on the horse. Mixed metaphors, but you get my meaning. Is get back up there, try again, do more, try to go a little bit longer. Like if you made it 4 days and you fell off, try to make it 5 this time, right? But what you're doing is exercising the muscle of pushing back against your mind, which is trying to keep you comfortable. And if you want to know more about that, just Google homeostasis. It is fascinating, and go down that rabbit hole. Anyway, you can do it. I'm cheerleading for the people who are doing the 30-day challenge. You can do it. Stick with it. Just keep doing, and also consider lowering your bar for what you do daily to make sure that you can make it further, because your goal is to do 30 consecutive days. And the reason I've been emphasizing 30 consecutive days is because for me, and I can't guarantee this is going to happen for you, but for me, something shifted when I did something every single day for 30 days. It was different than being consistent about things I've done in the past. It was different than that. It's just a different kind of thing that awakens in your mind. So I'm anxious to hear back from some people that actually do it. Okay, so moving on, let me say what's up to the folks in the chat. Shout out to the folks that are watching live. Shout out to Nan. I've been having trouble seeing all of the comments. I think StreamYard changed something. So if I don't mention you, it's not by omission, it's because I can't see all the comments. Shout out to Tim. The water. It wasn't frozen today, but I didn't drink it. Anyway, I'm on it. I'm going to get back to my water intake. Morning, Gladys. Double good morning, Gladys. I don't know what I said, Tim, but I'm glad it was good advice. Okay, so I am moving on to, I guess, the morning zen. Yeah, let's do the morning zen. Let's do the morning zen. And yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to remember what I just said. That was good advice. Well, let me know, Tim. Let me know later. Anyway, Mornings in. So as you know, I've been taking the 30-day mental diet class with Rev Melissa, which means I've been reading the 30-day mental diet every day. I mentioned that I got a triple, quadruple dose of day 20. So today was my day 21. And based on Rev Mel's advice that she gave yesterday, I didn't feel married to day 21. I read it, but I was like, yeah, okay. It was good, but I needed something more. So I also read from The Science of Getting Rich. So I'm going to read a passage from both. They're both brief passages. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, computer. Maybe I'm about, yeah, here we go. So I'm about to read a passage from both of these. So this is from day 21 of the 30-day mental diet. The theme is using the power of love. Using the power of love. Regardless of what confronts me, I meet the situation with the creative, constructive force of love, which makes all things right. Regardless of what confronts me, I meet the situation with the creative, constructive force of love, which makes all things right. It's a good one. That said, I still felt like I needed some more, so I went on over to The Science of Getting Rich, which, just a reminder, is the book that I actually read in my podcast, Get Rich 101. So again, this is not a passage that you would expect from a book called Get Rich 101. Go listen to the podcast. Anyway, this is from The Science of Getting Rich. Without gratitude, you cannot keep from dissatisfied thoughts regarding things as they are. And I'm going to say it again because the language, I mean, it was written in 1910, so sometimes the language is a little bit awkward. So I'm going to read it again to make sure you got it, and then I'll go on to the second sentence. Without gratitude, you can't keep from dissatisfied thoughts regarding things as they are. Basically, you can't keep yourself from being dissatisfied without gratitude. You need gratitude to keep you from feeling dissatisfied. Anyway, I'm going to read the whole passage. Without gratitude, you cannot keep from dissatisfied thoughts regarding things as they are. The moment you permit your mind to dwell with dissatisfaction upon things as they are, you begin to lose ground. So don't dwell with dissatisfaction on things as they are. Replace that feeling with gratitude. And here's a story that I didn't even mean to tell, but just popped in my head just now. I was in the airport traveling, and I was having a bad travel day. So many things that were going sideways. I won't repeat all those things because this is no complaining week. Reminder, this is no complaining week. So there were a lot of things going sideways, and I just felt like I was having one of those days. And I thought, I need to express gratitude, but what is there to be grateful for? And I started just choosing things around me that were really granular. I still remember this. I was like, I'm grateful for the color orange of these chairs, the chairs that were in the waiting room. I'm grateful for the reflection on the floor. I like the way the light's hitting at that certain angle. I'm grateful for these lights. I'm grateful. And once you start going, it's like there's something in you that wants to pick up gratitude speed. I swear to you, if you just pick one thing to be grateful for, your mind will feed you a second one and another one and another one. Just automatically, you try to be grateful for just one thing and watch how the mind gives you more. So this is like a live practice. You can practice gratitude in any moment which you feel constricted. You can force yourself to just literally look around the room and start saying, I'm grateful for this painting. I'm grateful for this purple dinosaur. I'm grateful for whatever it is around you, and your mind will pick up momentum. All right, I had no idea I was going to tell that story today, but it's a cool story. Anyway, that's the morning Zen. And for those of you just joining us at 10 o'clock, just a quick reminder that this show now starts at 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. So join us a little bit earlier. And if you are joining now and you missed the beginning, you can check out the replay on YouTube and Facebook. But YouTube seems to be easier based on what people have said. All right. So all that said, let's shift gears and the envelope challenge. Envelope challenge for today is $1. Move $1 from your checkings to your savings or whatever bucket you've designated. Because what I've said I'm going to do now is put it in a savings account bucket for now until it reaches a certain amount, and then I'm going to move it over to a brokerage account to see what happens in terms of interest on cash sitting in a brokerage account. So I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, so now back to abundance. Back to abundance. So let's do our affirmation. Uh-oh. Where's the affirmation? Here we go. I'm so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I'm so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. All right, and then the second reminder is poor people spend, the middle class saves, but the wealthy, they invest. So if you want to be wealthy, you have to invest. It's not optional. It's not optional. It is not optional. You must invest. Otherwise, the value of the money that you have stored away somewhere is reducing itself. Right now, it's just evaporating little by little. If you remember my experiment from the other day, we talked about $800 that we put in the stock market versus $800 that was sitting in a savings account. And the $800 that was sitting in the savings account, it still said $800, and it gained $7, a little over $7 in interest over 15 years. But inflation over that same amount of time reduced the value of that money by $300. So it says balance $800 or $807, whatever. But the value of it was only $500. In other words, it could only buy $500 worth of goods and services because inflation has cut into the value of it. What is that? Is it a Pac-Man I'm doing? Just did a Pac-Man. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, the Pac-Man came and gobbled up the value of your money. So investing is not optional. All right, so that's it. I wanted to circle back to some of the comments from yesterday. Lots of comments yesterday. I appreciate it. So let me respond to these. So someone asked about tax on crypto trading. So I haven't done any crypto trading, and I know that the government is trying to figure out how they can get their piece of crypto because it's getting bigger and bigger. So I'm not sure where we land on that yet, but I know that trading is taxable because you're making money. Like if you make money, right? So if you make a trade and you're up $5, well, that's income. So I'm not sure what the threshold is. I got an email this week from Cash App that implies the threshold is $10, meaning that if you make at least $10 trading stocks on Cash App, then you have to report it. So I'm not 100% sure what the threshold is. I'm not 100% sure what the threshold is, but yes, trading seems to be a taxable event because you're making money. So be careful with that. Consult with your CPA. Oh, there's a CPA in the chat right there. What's up, Ben? I appreciate you watching. So yeah, be mindful of trading and how that affects you in terms of taxable events. Also, I got a shout out on the jacket. Appreciate this. I'm in this vintage phase. I like to get blazers from secondhand shops. So this is a secondhand blazer. I like it a lot. It really spoke to me. So I appreciate the shout out. I think that was Tim that gave me a shout out on the blazer. So yeah, there we go. And water, I already talked about that. I got to get a better system on the water, but I am drinking a lot more tea, which is water based. So that helps a little bit. Also, someone said in the comments yesterday that they're contributing $20 a month to the S&P 500. And that's great. Congratulations. And I also want to offer another idea. So $20 per month into the S&P 500. Just to recap, the S&P 500, it's two things, but the thing that we're talking about is the ETF. So that's an index fund. It's got literally 500 companies in it. All 500 of the companies have to have net worth is not quite the right term, but they have to be $40 billion companies. So you've got 500 $40 billion companies in the S&P 500, which is about as safe as you can get in the stock space, the stock market space. So think about it this way, though. Here's a thought. If you invest $20 per month over the course of the year, that's about $240, right? Think about it in terms of a different type of goal. Instead of the goal being, I want to invest $20 a month. Think about this instead. I want to buy a share of the S&P 500. And how much is that share? And then divide that by the number of months. And then doing it that way might adjust how much you contribute, because then your goals start to shift. It's like, all right, if I want to own a whole share and I want to own it by the end of the year, then I need to contribute this much. Or if I want to own a whole share by my birthday, then I need to contribute this much. It's just a shift in thinking that has been very helpful to me. It's been helpful to me to have a goal in terms of shares, because as no doubt you've noticed, you get the benefits of being a stockholder no matter how much you buy. I was talking about this with, I think it was Rev Melissa earlier this week. Like, we're getting invited to stockholders meetings, even though we only got like a couple of dollars into the stock, not even a full share. So your benefits increase exponentially once you have a full share, not in terms of your proxy vote for the stockholders meeting, but in terms of the dividend. Because when you own a partial share of the S&P 500, you get a partial dividend. But once you own a whole share, you get a full dividend every time there is a dividend disbursement. And I think the S&P 500 is quarterly. So that could be another thing to look at in terms of goals. I want to own a share of the S&P 500 before the next dividend disbursement so I can get that dividend, right? You want to make sure you have DRIP activated. Once again, DRIP is Dividend Reinvestment Plan. It's a very cool acronym that means the dividend will automatically go right back into the asset, so it's not a taxable event. It stays contained within the stock, and therefore it grows bigger on its own. So that's my suggestion. That's literally what I did. I made it a goal to get a full share of the S&P 500, and somehow just having that goal ordered my steps differently, and I was able to get a share of the S&P 500 faster than I would have if I just focused on how much money I want to contribute. So, food for thought. Okay, I spent more time than I expected talking about that. Now I want to circle back to risk. And yes, I got my notebook in my hand because I want to mention a couple of things that I've been writing down. We've been talking about risk unexpectedly in terms of stock trading. And guess what? There's a whole science of stock trading that has to deal with risk management. Like this is a field of study. Like, if you want to trade stocks, you've got to study risk management. It's what you have to do. It's part of the process of becoming a stock trader. I should rephrase, no one has to do anything. But if you want to be good at stock trading, you need to understand and study risk management. I think that's brilliant, because risk management is something that we need in life, right? And so having a career that forces you to comprehend risk management is a really good way to apply risk management throughout your life. So that's my first thought. And the second thought is cognitive bias. Can you believe that cognitive bias came up in my study of stock trading? Like, what? Like, you expect cognitive bias to come up in therapy, let's say, right? Or anything related to psychology. There's my alarm telling me to go ahead and wrap it up. All right, so you expect it to come up there, but I definitely did not expect cognitive bias to come up in terms of stock trading, but it comes up often. Matter of fact, I'm going to read this quote really quickly. According to the Stock Trading University podcast, which I've gotten into recently. Well, first of all, shout out to the Stock Trading University podcast. Every episode is about 1 minute. Like the actual content is 1 minute. So it's really easily digestible. They've got 88 episodes, and you can listen to all 88 in an evening. They just go really fast. And it's all about the basics of stock trading. So shout out to them. That said, they estimate that more than 95% of stock traders are not consistently profitable. The question is why? Why are 95% of stock traders not consistently profitable? I want you to think about it and drop your answer in the chat, right? Because your answer is probably my answer. But that ain't the answer. That ain't the answer. Oh, so what can I do to tap dance while you're dropping that in the chat? All right, while I'm tap dancing, I'm going to talk about one of the cognitive biases that came up at the top of the list for things to address if you're going to be a stock trader. Now, there's a lot. I wrote down all of them. There's a lot of cognitive bias. Oh, first of all, let's define cognitive bias. So I looked it up. Cognitive bias is a systematic error in thinking. A systematic error in thinking. And it's caused by mental mistakes. A systematic error in thinking caused by mental mistakes. And here are some easy examples. Oh, so here's an easy one. Yes. Assuming that everyone shares your opinion. And we do that so often. We assume that, especially the people close to us, our brothers, cousins, relatives, mothers, sons, daughters, we assume, especially because we're close in terms of family, that they see the world the same way we see the world. Like when you start a sentence with, surely you don't think, or surely you do think, you're assuming that that other person thinks about things the same way you do. And they do not. They do not. So that's easy cognitive bias, a systematic error in thinking. It is an error in thinking to think that anyone else thinks about something exactly the same way as you. That's an error in thinking. That's a good one. So the one that I want to point out in terms of trading, and there's so many, maybe I'll do like one a day or something. But the one that really stood out to me is called outcome bias. This is a cognitive bias called outcome bias. And that is judging a decision by the outcome rather than the quality of the decision. Judging a decision by the outcome rather than the quality of the decision. So doesn't that apply to everything? Like it easily applies to relationships, right? The relationship didn't go where you thought it would. That's the outcome. And so you judge the whole thing based on the outcome that you didn't want. But you made a good decision. Like you chose this person in the beginning because they made you laugh, they made you smile, you connected on so many levels. The quality of the decision was top notch. Just because the outcome isn't what you wanted doesn't negate the quality of the decision you made at the beginning, right? Outcome bias is a cognitive bias that came up in terms of stock trading. And there's a list of them, things that you must conquer in order to be an effective stock trader. So hopefully I've given you enough time to drop your answers into the chat, but I'm just going to give it to you now because I'm out of time. So the answer is, I guess it's obvious now, the answer is mindset. That's why 95% of stock traders are not consistently profitable because they don't have a winning mindset. Can you imagine? My thought was, it's because it's complicated. It's because it's difficult. No, that's not why. It's because they don't have the right mindset. So obviously I'm excited about this. I'm going to keep talking about stock trading and mindset. I see there's some comments. I'll check them out after the show and respond to them tomorrow if need be. Right now it's time for prayer time. Sorry, I'm cutting into your time, prayer time. My bad. And then after that, it's time for Sit with Rev Melissa. I'll be producing that show and probably popping in to say a word or two. So until tomorrow, keep doing, be a hero, be your own hero. And remember that now, right now, is better than perfect in terms of investing. So go invest. And I'll see you tomorrow. Later.